So I'm just recording now, Afshan. It's Afshan, and she has been coming to me for treatment for Hashimoto's hypothyroidism. And she's nervous to go on camera, but she's very generously agreed to do so. I've been seeing her, I think, since April, first consultation date, and we've made great headway in that time. Very good headway. So just in case she can't remember some of the things, because mine might go blank, then I'm going to hold your notes ready for you, Afshan, so I can just prompt you if needs be. But otherwise, you were just talking about family history. I think what you were saying was you started having symptoms from the age of about 22. You started medication at 33, and you said that you just thought it was part of the aging process. And then I was wondering about your family history, whether this seemed like a normal aging thing in your family. So I'll hand over to you to talk about that.
Okay, thank you, Sally. Well, yeah, around 22, started getting a lot of symptoms like less energy, getting tired easily, putting weight on, dry hair, dry skin. And yeah, I just thought, I'm getting older now. It seems ridiculous looking back, but I didn't really question anything was wrong with me medically. It was only in my pregnancy, about 10 years later, that it was picked up in my bloods. So I started Levo and I saw some improvement. So I was happy with that. I didn't return to what I am now, the health I have now, but I just put it all down to this is what happens when you get older, not knowing any different. I've never been 22 before, I've been 33 before. So kind of took Levo on and off for a few years and was having problems with it. Doctors would raise and lower, not really going by my symptoms, always by bloods, disregarding if I felt like I needed more, if I felt like I didn't need any. And in the end, I think I got fed up. I was really starting to struggle to get out of bed in the morning, and I was thinking, like, my son's starting school, how am I going to manage this? So I went down the natural route, and I was treated successfully before by a friend who's a homeopath, and then she's gone in a different direction. So I was kind of left a bit stranded, ended up back on Levo, ended up back with it not working, all the symptoms, hair falling out, putting a lot of weight on. Then did a lot of research, joined support groups, ended up on natural desiccated thyroid, and ended up meeting Sally around the same time. So I've made a lot of progress. I've seen both of the things working together really well. I think they both complement each other, and I am hoping to come off the natural desiccated thyroid. We did a detox, Levo and various other things, steroid medication I had in pregnancy, and I had a lot of symptoms, which at the time I thought it's nothing to do with the detox, it's just a coincidence. But looking back, it's very easy to see the full picture. And obviously Sally, says it's a good chance it's the detox. So, I mean, it's worked so well that I'm actually reducing my natural desiccated thyroid with Sally's advice, and I'm hoping to stop it altogether, and Sally's advice also to get my bloods repeated, and the private bloods I get done, not the doctors. They only test 2 things, which is pretty useless. And I am still feeling, even though I've reduced my meds this week, I'm still feeling a bit like I need to come down a bit more, but I've got to give it time. And then also something else, I suffer from hay fever, which I developed in my teens. And some years can be worse than others. This year's was particularly bad, so much so that if I spent half an hour in the garden, I would have violent sneezing for the next 2 hours, which is really horrible when you've got a small child and you want to spend time in the garden. So not really thinking I needed to come back to Sally, who was treating me. I just thought, this is just hay fever. I'll phone I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name.
That's all right. You can say it, or say the pharmacy, the homeopathic pharmacy.
Yes, pharmacy, but I was getting my remedy from that Sally was suggesting. I thought, I'll just phone them for a telephone chat and get something for this hay fever. I just thought this was a little thing, maybe separate to everything Sally was treating me for. And it was brilliant. They told me to take a couple of different things. Some kind of sip in water, others take morning, afternoon, night. And my sneezing stopped. It worked really well. But suddenly, around 8 o'clock every night, I would have really intense itching of my eyes, which was which was really horrible. It's like mosquito bites in both eyes. In the end, you have to give in, you have to scratch it, and then I can't open my eyes. They were so swollen and they hurt even with my eyes closed. Phoned Helios again, and they suggested taking make a tincture in water, putting it in my eye.
Something like Fraser. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And it did help. It did help relieve the symptoms, but it wasn't a cure. So I was doing this continuously every evening. And then I realised, probably when my appointment with you was coming up, that probably shouldn't have done that. Probably should have direct you. I was thinking, right, I'm going to get telling off now.
No,
So
you never get telling off. You never get.
No, you were very kind, and you said it's easily done. You said,
well, I tell you what had happened. That I'll just explain what happened. What you've got is a returning old symptom, which you expect during correct treatment. You'll have old symptoms come back that were never resolved in your teen years or earlier in life. They come back, and sometimes you pass through them, and sometimes you need help to pass through them. All we needed to do to resolve it was actually to repeat a single dose of the remedy we'd been using for your hypothyroidism. So because you have a lovely way of staying in the same remedy, this is probably your constitutional remedy. So to deal with the hay fever, we just needed to give you another little boost of your natmare, which is what we did. We gave you a little boost to your natmare, and all the hay fever symptoms resolved, didn't they?
Yeah, well, no, it was completely amazing. I wasn't expecting instant relief, and kind of within an hour of taking it, I could feel I was so much better. In the evening, there was just a slight sensation, maybe almost a tickliness in my eyes, but not the intense itchy. The next day, you told me to repeat the remedy again in the morning, and there was nothing. The itchiness has gone of my eyes, and all the hay fever, the sneezing in the middle of hay fever season, completely gone. So
we resolved the hay fever, and it may be that if you manage to keep your level of health up here and keep it at the height we've managed to bring it to, that you're going to have no more hay fever, that we've resolved that. If you went through a lot of strain or a big trauma, you can come back down and you can actually see the hay fever returning, and then what you'd likely see is beginning to see a little lowering of energy, more sort of thyroid symptoms coming in, and we just repeat the natmare and bring you back up. We all go through this in life. The little trauma will come in, something will come in, a big stress will come in, and it will just bring your level slightly down. So what we're always trying to achieve is bring it up, 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 up. And that's treating every acute with homeopathy constitutionally, rather than the prescription they gave you at Helios. And you see a different homeopath every time you phone them. It'd be a different homeopath with a different style of working. And what they were doing is they're eliminating each symptom with a different remedy. So they're doing polypharmacy with different remedies. It's what it actually did was just push it into the eyes, which is not a particularly good place to go. And then they've got to ameliorate the eyes. It's kind of almost allopathic. It's almost like doctor's medicine. But what we're doing is finding the remedy that constitutionally fits you, that can do that work in one remedy, the whole work in one remedy. And if they knew your case and they know what your usual remedy is, then they'd be, well, it's obvious first thing to do is try your constitutional remedy in that situation. So most people don't realise even sometimes when I mention it, they don't realise that we can deal with everything with homeopathy. And just come back. Just book an acute appointment. It costs more than Helios, but you don't go through the pain and trouble of it.
I think I know that now. Yeah,
and then you make also good progress, because having that moment made good further progress in your case. So it's never wasted money to come for an acute appointment at that point, because by treating the acutes really well, we actually move your level of health up some more. Yeah. Tell me about fevers. You had a fever since? How do I know?
I did when I was doing detox. I did.
Have not had one for how long before?
Oh, I don't remember the last. Easily over 5 years.
And that tells straight away that your level has risen substantially.
Yeah.
Substantially. And then you had a return of old symptoms, which is such a good sign as well. We're definitely on the right path. So now you feel limited in life, or you feel like you've got freedom? Health is defined by freedom, mental freedom, emotional freedom, and physical freedom.
Yeah, it was holding me back. I would feel nervous on doing day trips out in the local city without my husband for backup. I mean, I'm quite an independent person. That's not normal. I mean, we went to Italy last year and I dreaded it. I thought, how am I going to manage? How am I going to do all the sightseeing and look after a baby? And these are things that you should enjoy. And I went from really not having a good quality of life, struggling just walking up the stairs, to climbing up a mountain. I kind of spoke to you kind of one weekend and just being so amazed at the turnaround in my health.
And also, it will be interesting to see what your antibodies show us. It's quite important. I mean, you don't want to get to the point where your body's attacking your own thyroid, where your thyroid is no longer working at all, and you're entirely dependent upon medication, which can be, as you've explained, really hard to modulate. It's really hard to get it right. So it's it's really good that we are working on it this way, because remind me how old you are. 33. How old are you now?
40.
40. You just don't look this age at all. You just don't look it. So you don't really want what you really don't want to do is deal with aging at 44. It's so young. Or at 33 or at 22, where you started in 22, 23. You shouldn't be dealing with feeling old at that age.
I know. I think I just accepted it. Didn't realise it was anything medical or something in my body kind of crying out for help. I think I see it as now. And I do. I feel younger than I did in my 20s.
Yes, I feel the same after homeopathy. I actually have more energy and I'm younger. I feel a lot younger, and I'm 51. But I feel as better than I did in my 20s, definitely. And I certainly have more energy than I had then, definitely. So it's worth coming for. I'm really interested to look at your antibody changes in your antibodies. That's what I'd like to see next. I work quite a lot with people with hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's in particular, as you know. And I've been watching with a patient of mine. I've seen her every month, and every month she's got a drop of about 17% in her antibodies. And we're getting down into a really sort of nice territory. And she's bringing all her NDT down, and she's getting into really nice territory where we're seeing that the antibodies are heading towards normal, which is really what we want to see. And seeing that multiple times with blood tests, it's really good. And Nat Mur, repeatedly. Nat Mur is so often the remedy for this. It's my first one. I'll think, is it going to be Nat Mur? Because it so often is. So it's good. So thanks for recording. You did really well, by the way. You did. You did really well.
Okay, thank you. I hope it's useful for you.
I think it'll be useful for people to see. It's really tried to build up a database of people talking about recovery with homeopathy.
I meet so many women who have an underactive thyroid, and I see me kind of 10, 20 years ago, even last year. And I always go on and on about homeopathy because it's worked so well. And they say, but you don't look like you've got an underactive thyroid. I'm the one who's cycling my son to school and they're driving to school, and they all think I'm in my 20s. I'm like, no. But it's not enough. They don't take that step. It's a bit of leap of faith into the unknown. But it's just
these videos make difference. These videos make that difference to people. I have lots of people that come and say they've seen a video